Hello and welcome to another edition of Localized Miami. I'm your host, Robert Ruano, where we talk to the people that make Miami and Miami-Dade County special. Today we have the owner of Fritz and Franz, Harald Neuweg.
Robert, thank you for having me.
How are you? Good to see you.
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure. I've been going to your place for a long time. You've been open, Fritz and Franz, in Coral Gables. How long have you been open?
Robert, appreciate that you support us with your. I think you like the schnitzel and the sausages.
I love schnitzel.
Fritz Franz Bierhaus has been there since 2002.
Mm-hmm.
In 1999, we opened up Satchmo Blues Bar and Grill. And it was very successful at the beginning. And like most things in Miami, they went up, straight up, and then also it went straight down. Unfortunately, with the two buildings going up on the left and on the right, people had no access to the parking garage, no access to the street, and we lost a lot of business with Satchmo. And right after Satchmo, when I realized this is going downhill, even though we were so successful with the happy hour on a Friday night, and I think a lot of people in Miami still remember Satchmo.
I remember.
Bar and Grill.
I was there.
So we decided we need to make a change, right? And me being a chef, having dinner with the Chef of the Year in Austria, in Vienna, at Meindel's. The chef comes up and we start talking on Harald. He said, "You can do what I do."
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, my friends, of course, Harald, you're a great chef. You can do that. So I come back to Miami and I close Satchmo and I open up Da Capo, meaning one more time from the top.
Okay.
The musical term. DACAPO, Da Capo.
Okay, I didn't know that. It means
one more time from the top. Applaud, encore.
Encore.
So I said, okay, let me do this one more time. So I open up Da Capo and international cuisine. Blue Point oyster bisque, filet mignon rossini, all this very, very good French cooking.
Where was that? In the same place?
Same place.
Oh, right? I don't remember that.
And unfortunately, I have to say, we had white tablecloths, beautiful linen curtain, carpet, Riedel glasses, Villeroy Boch dishes. We had everything top notch, right? I invested like $400,000 to make the changeover. I hired a PR company. I hired a maitre d', which was top notch. And unfortunately, that didn't work at all because construction was going up left and right. And we looked out at 6 o'clock in our table and we had nails and screws and cement and dust on our tablecloths. So realizing that I'm going broke there, I have to do another change.
Okay.
Right? And I was frustrated. I didn't know what happened. And I went one Sunday morning to the Da Capo. And I said, what happened here? I was so successful. It did so well. And then I realized the write-up I got in the Miami New Times and the Miami Times at that time from, I forgot the gentleman who wrote it. He said, Harald is missing Schnitzel and Bratwurst and Oktoberfest atmosphere.
Really?
And that gave me the idea, okay, if this is what Miami wants, this is what Miami gets. And immediately my depression from losing Da Capo turned into energy, where I got excited and say, okay, let's do that. Let's give him a beer hall Oktoberfest all year round.
Nice.
And then I called my maitre d'. It was Sunday. I said, Peter, you have to come in. We are changing the restaurant. He said, today is a day off and we have no money, which was absolutely right. We were almost broke.
Wow.
So I said, Peter, I need you to come in because we are closed. I made the decision, we're closed. So we sat down and I told Peter the idea, and he said, how are we going to raise money? I said, you know what? We have so many people who follow us. Once in a while, they tell us, the next restaurant, I want to be part of it. So we called about 5, 6 people. We made a list of each 10 people, right? Okay. We start calling, and they said, look, we give you 5% of the net profit if you give us $25,000 to change into Fritz and Franz Bierhaus, right? And in a half an hour, we have raised $150,000.
Wow, that's amazing.
People who were regulars like Roy and Bob and Tony. And these guys were a regular friend of us. And so we made the change immediately. We set up the concept of sports and music and Oktoberfest, beer hall, right? And this was at the end of 2002 when we changed Fritz Franz Bierhaus into what it is today.
Wow, that's amazing. That's when I moved to Coral Gables in 2002. And you said you did Oktoberfest. You were doing Oktoberfest for a while there. When did you do Oktoberfest?
Oktoberfest started in 1994.
Okay.
On the street of Alcazar, where Mozartstube used to be, the tiny little restaurant, 50-seat restaurant. Okay. We went to the city. We said, we like to do a street party. And at that time, the manager, David Brown, he told me, say, Harald, use the street. I said, perfect, you can do it. Get the permits, get the application in, no problem. And we set it up. A Blues Fest was actually the first one.
Oh, really? Before?
And then the next one was Oktoberfest.
Yeah, because it was at Satchmo's.
Right.
Right? When we talked about it, Albert Castilla played there.
Oktoberfest, Albert played the first Blues Festival on Alcazar Avenue in front of little Mozartstube.
Really?
Piano Bob and the Snowman and all these people. It was just fantastic. So we started this. And then when I moved over to where Bierhaus is right now, the 60 Merrick Way, Walders Foley was a guy who, the mayor said, look, Harald is the guy to do it. Because some of the commissioner raised concerns that Harald is financially not strong enough to take over that space, which was owned by, leased by Jumpin' Java, the coffee company.
Okay.
Right? So, and the argument at the city commission was the mayor, Walders Foley, told the commissioners, he said, look, we had a guy with $1 million investment, and he hasn't paid us rent for 3 months. Right?
Okay.
So Harald is doing everything positive in the city. Give him this place. Right? Give him the location. And I specifically told the mayor and the manager, Jack Eads at that time, I want to do events. I want to use the plaza for Blues Festival, for Oktoberfest, any kind of events, for soccer events, back in 1999.
That's amazing.
And Jack Eads and the mayor told me, Harald, you do on this plaza whatever you want because we need people on that side of the city.
Exactly. Well, that's interesting because I remember when Graciano's opened, like maybe 15 years ago now. Yep. They were dead at the beginning because there's a market and there was nobody living there.
Right.
But now there are hundreds of people nearby.
Well,
and that's good and bad.
Graciano was, I think, the third tenant of that location. And they got Graziano with the market and all these things. Yeah. Very good because he brought foot traffic over here.
Right.
But we also had, when we started Satchmo Blues Bar and Grill, we had live music outside. Fleet Starbuck was playing on a regular basis outside from 6 to 10. And inside we had blues musicians from Chicago, from New York, from Los Angeles, who toured South Florida, and they were stopped in our place.
Fantastic.
Coco Taylor, Coco Montoya, they played at Satchmo Blues Bar Grill.
Wow. Well, I think we have a video of some of the festivities there. Can we show it, Rachel? Tell me what this is. Oh, Oktoberfest.
Oh.
Yeah. It was fantastic. I went to at least several Oktoberfests that I recall, because it comes around my birthday. It's October.
So Oktoberfest was like maybe the biggest festival for us every year. We fly in 2 bands from Austria, authentic bands. We put them out, we pay the airfare, and we pay them the fee. So
that's expensive. Very expensive.
But it was the authenticity what the people liked. And the setup on the plaza, the beautiful palm trees, the outdoors event, free to the people, no admission charge.
Yeah.
This was one of the most beautiful events we ever did.
Look at that crowd.
Yeah.
Wow.
This was World Cup Soccer 2006, Argentina.
The finals?
Yeah, Argentina, Germany. And that was maybe the biggest crowd we had. We had Merrick Park as well at that time.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Yeah. I mean, it was absolutely packed, but there were no security concerns.
No.
Because we don't have hooligans.
No, not at all.
Some people would make us believe that we are a drunken place and hooligan. No, this is family. This is family. This is kids. This is grandfathers, grandmothers. They just want to get together then.
Yeah, and I was there. I saw that the other day. My wife and I went to lunch last week, and I saw the crowds that were there. You saw that there was a crowd of like I guess college students or something. They were chanting, cheering, but there was nothing aggressive. They were having a great time. It's like that's what it's there for. And I'll tell you, as somebody who has been to Oktoberfest in Munich, it is very authentic looking, you know, the beer steins, the ladies, the tables.
The people wait all year to dress up. Some woman ordered dresses in Germany because it's gotten to be such a classy model fashion show to wear the beautiful dirndl. So not the one you wear on Halloween. No. You buy ones. The $3,000-$4,000 dirndl. Yeah. And the guys in the lederhosen, which costs $1,000.
Yeah, they're leather, aren't they?
Yeah, they are usually deer leather. The good ones. Wow. No, it has all it's a traditional, beautiful fest to have a good time. That's what it is.
And I'll tell you that too. And that's what I saw here, but also over there. It was a good time, and everybody was just very relaxed, just enjoying. Nobody aggressive, nobody violent. It was just a really good time. So that's great. So you've been, almost 30 years, 29 years, I guess.
I've been 30 years in Coral Gable, actually 33 years. In 1993, I started Mozartstube on Alcazar. And then in 1999, I moved over to this location.
And you have a Puerto Rican accent, right? Your accent?
Absolutely.
You're San Juan. You're from Austria, right?
Yes.
Where are you from?
You were born there? I'm going to pump you up.
Get me to the chopper. That's my
get
favorite.
Me to the chopper.
Where were you? You were born in Austria?
I was born in Austria, but 3 hours where Arnold was born.
Really?
I came from a little town. It's called St. Agatha, which is between Linz and Salzburg. Mm-hmm. Linz is the city nobody ever stops. They drive from Vienna to Salzburg and don't even know Linz exists. But Linz is a really beautiful city. And I grew up like 40 minutes northwest of Linz.
And what brought you to the States?
Well, I did my apprenticeship in 1974 to 77. Then I worked 1 year, 2 years in Austria, and I went to Switzerland, 1979. I worked the whole year in the ski resort in Arosa and on the Lake Lucerne. And then you could decide, as a chef from Austria, where do I go next? And I made this unique thing. I picked up blind names from the newspaper, from the magazine, which was looking for jobs all over the world. And I picked 4 cities. I pointed at 2, I wrote a piece of paper, I threw it in a jar, and then I picked from the 4, it was Miami, Florida, Sydney, Australia, Tokyo, Japan, and Hamburg, Germany. These were the 4 cities I picked.
Okay.
I love Hamburg, Germany. So I said, I'm going to go to Hamburg, right? Okay. So while my job in Switzerland was finished, I traveled to Hamburg. I do the interview at the hotel, and the guy hired me immediately. And I was supposed to start work in 2 weeks. I said, sounds good. I'm going now to Austria, relax 2 more weeks, and then I'm going to start work in Hamburg, Germany. Well, I was in Austria 3 days. I get a phone call because I did send the resume to everybody. Okay. I get a phone call from Miami. La Paloma restaurant on Biscayne Boulevard.
La Paloma.
It was right across the Omni at that time. Okay. So as I looked at it, I said, Hamburg, Miami, Hamburg, USA, Hamburg. I'm going to America. And the guy basically promised me working visa and everything, which was, at that time was not really clear contract work. So I arrive in Miami and I take the train from Christkirchen, Linz to Luxembourg. In Luxembourg, I arrive. My luggage is not there.
Oh, man.
So I go to the train conductor and say, listen, where's my luggage? And he told me, obviously, it went the other direction to, at that time, Yugoslavia. Oh, so wow. I flew to America on a DC-8, actually, to Florida, and from Florida to Miami. And with, from Bahamas... Mm-hmm. Sorry, from Luxembourg to Bahamas to Freeport, and from Freeport to Miami with Air Florida.
Interesting way. Time. Wow. And so, La Paloma. Was it in the bottom of one of the new buildings?
No, it was a freestanding restaurant right across the Omni on Biscayne Boulevard. There is a parking lot now. Okay. There used to be a small building, was called La Paloma Restaurant, a Swiss restaurant,
Right.
very successful. Then they moved to 125th Street.
Okay.
Werner Maria Staub were the owners, and I worked for them. And then after 6 months, I moved to Coral Gables. I worked for Vinton's and French Connection.
Okay.
Very, very renowned restaurants in Coral Gables. French restaurants, but very high-end and was really fantastic.
Wow. And so now your restaurant now has been there 25 years, 26 years, Fritz and Franz?
27 years.
So what kind of food do you have? I mean, I know a little bit, but can you tell the folks like what's your...
Right. Well, basically, since we have this authentic beer hall, Oktoberfest style, we have German Austrian food. And I call it German because a lot of people confuse us with Australia. Okay. So Austria is not really as well known as Australia, and Germany goes well. And then at that time, there was a restaurant in Miami, it was called Opa. Taverna Opa, a Greek restaurant, where people would be dancing on the table and throwing cocktail napkins all over.
Yeah.
And I said, this is our idea. We're going to do this. I built this huge beer tables, which we still have in the restaurant today. I built them in my house in Pinecrest, and we moved them then this was our setup. So these tables hold 20 people standing up there.
Oh,
they
wow.
don't break, so these are solid. So I built them myself, and then we put them in the beer house. And we started, every time I play a certain song, Hey, Hey, Baby, we have all the employees jump up on the table to bring the customers up. And it was so much fun. It was really good. And we showed all the soccer games, all the Miami Hurricane games. And it was very open around the time when the Hurricanes played FSU in the Orange Bowl. Mm-hmm. And I sent 8 of my waitresses who looked like sexy cocktail waitresses, were hired from a modeling agency. I sent them to Orange Bowl and hand out postcards. We still have the postcards until the manager, David Brown, said, I don't know what you're doing. Are you opening a brothel? And I said, no, this is a fun place in Coral Gables.
Wow.
It was a little bit too conserved for them, you know.
Yeah. Well, actually, we have about 12 minutes, but I do want to, you mentioned soccer because part of the reason that it's so timely that you're here today is because there was a vote last week at a city commission meeting. And maybe you can explain, but essentially you're going to do World Cup watches on your plaza. Can you explain a little bit for the folks that don't know what's going on?
The process is this. I came back in February from Austria and handed in the application for the World Cup soccer party on Fritz Franz Bierhaus on the plaza. Like we did in the last 24 years. It was most of the time a consent agenda with the city, meaning the mayor knew, the commissioners knew about it. Okay, it's all done. The last couple of years, it got more difficult. It had to get the approval from the city commission, meaning we hand in the application, the city events committee looks at it with the police, with the fire, garbage removal, everybody, and we tell us, okay, what do you want to do? How many days? What's the time? We know this is going to be a 6 weeks World Cup, and we know it's going to be very long. So the first application, we ask for 29-day plaza use, 29 days. That was too much for the mayor, the commissioner, so they deferred it. Okay, so we had another meeting with the events committee, and we came down with Plan B. We're going to limit the days from July 3rd to July 19th. Okay. And then an article came out and said, how can you take away the group games, which is really fun if you have Ecuador play Germany or things like that. So I handed in the application with the idea that on Tuesday we're going to get a vote on that. Now, on Thursday, before the next commission meeting, Friday, Saturday, we get a lot of calls from people. We want to come to the USA game, June 12th, 9 p.m. And we want to see all the German game. We want to see all the USA game. So I realized we do need the 6 extra games.
Okay.
On top of the Plan B application, we needed the 6 extra game, which was Plan C. I met on Friday afternoon with Vice Mayor Anderson and explained that to her that I will present at the City Commission meeting on the 19th of June. I will ask for an extra 6 days for the group stages, USA and Germany.
You met with Vice Mayor Anderson.
Well, Vice Mayor Anderson said, maybe not a bad idea, but June 19 is the game starts at 9 p.m. That might be a problem because it runs into 11 with the noise ordinance. And so I said, okay. And then I waited until Tuesday. I was in the morning there at the city commission meeting, and I realized my agenda is H1, which again could be at 5 in the afternoon.
Exactly.
So I did have a good feeling. I didn't have a good feeling about...
You did or did not?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Because on June 5th, when the city commission took a break at 1:30 in the afternoon, Mayor Vince Lago...
May 5th, sorry.
Pardon me?
May 5th. Sorry, you said June 5th.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
May
just making
5th,
sure for people that...
At that commission meeting, Mayor Lago walked by me. I got up. I was in the last row. I got up. I shook his hand. I said, "Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor." The mayor said, "Are you here for another discount?" I said, "No, I'm not here for a discount. I'm here for the approval of the plaza for the World Cup." He said, "You shoved it down my throat."
What does that mean?
You shoved it down my throat. That meant 2 years ago, when he lost against us, he wanted not to renew our lease.
2 years ago.
Because 2 years ago, on May 31st, 2024, our lease was up, and we had to go for a renewal. The mayor did not want to give me a new lease.
Why not?
I don't know why not, but obviously talk was that he had somebody else to get in there, somebody from... The reason was, number one, we owe the city money, which was a lie. We're not clean enough, we are not fancy enough, and we don't belong in the city of Coral Gables. That was overall, and I know this because at that time, one of the officials from the city, from the development department, told a lawyer, which I know, that we are not good enough for the city of Coral Gables. Right?
That's just crazy.
It is. It is. So
it doesn't match because Coral Gables, and especially with what you do and who you market to, people love soccer here.
Exactly. And we went to the media, and at the end we won. They had no choice but to vote 5-0 to keep us a new lease. Of course, $5,000 more a month than we used to pay.
But you said 5-0. I thought you said the mayor voted against you.
No, it didn't. It couldn't anymore.
Oh, okay.
Because we had already, the city commission meeting was decided because they realized the mayor is not going to win, so he voted for it.
I see.
Okay? But with an increase and with all these things we have to do. So at that move forward 2 years. This was lying in his stomach for 2 years. And at that May 5th commission meeting, at the break, when he said, "You shoved it down my throat," I didn't have to ask what he meant. I knew exactly what he meant. And I realized at that time, maybe I just should walk away because there's no use. And then I went back at 2 o'clock, and they let me wait till 5:15 for my agenda. And I know from city commission past, when they saw me sitting in the audience, Mayor Valdez Foley, Jim Case, and Dorothy Thompson, they would say, "Harald is here, let's move the agenda up, let's get this done." Right? This was meetings. This was not a trial, like I felt on May 5th. And so I decided I'm going to speak and tell the people what he said to me on May 5th.
Okay.
And then I said, let me talk to an attorney. And I talked to Tucker Gibbs, which is a very renowned attorney in Coral Gables, and he recommended me hire Amanda Head. And so I did. So I talked to her with the meeting. I said, "Look, I want to speak about this. I want to have this speech at the May 19th meeting, commission meeting. What do you think?" And she said, Don't do it. I said, I don't feel comfortable going in front of the city commission, but I feel like I've been treated like a little schoolboy on the May 5th commission meeting, and I think everybody can see it if they look it up. So Amanda told me, "Don't go, I go, and I see what I can do for you." And when it was deferred, and they wouldn't even let Amanda Hand, my representative, speak properly and explain why we added 6 days, 6 games to the Plan B. That was the reason I was so upset at that time, and I didn't want to do it. When I heard that the mayor said, "I want another meeting and I want a detailed plan," the detailed plan, Mr. Mayor, was 24 years experience of all kinds of festivals with no incident. That's my detailed plan right there. And then I waited the whole day, and I see the emails from the mayor. Has the council for Fritz Franz Bierhaus come back for our meeting? Are they coming to our meeting? I asked multiple times for that meeting, and I decided on Thursday after the commission meeting, that's it. Mr. Mayor, the train has left the station. I'm officially withdrawing for the application for the World Cup Plaza. So, and you know what, Robert? I was relieved.
Yeah.
The stress was off. My anxiety was off. My energy at that time was gone. The city took the energy from putting this together, the fun of putting this event together, and also my treatment of all the people, and everything was gone. And when I canceled the application, I felt relief and I feel energized again.
And so what's going to happen?
Well, right now we are planning to do the World Cup inside the restaurant and outside under the covered area. The outside covered area, where you see all these wooden beer tables,
Right.
the big ones, we can expand from the gas meter all the way to the kitchen door, which is going to be approximately 16 tables. On the right side of our restaurant, underneath the covered area, we're not going to go out on the plaza.
Okay.
We're going to have set up a beer bar for the service staff and for people who cannot get a beer inside, because we have a limited amount of people who can inside. And we will cover ground off this area, which belongs to us, basically as a tenant, with barricades.
Yeah.
There will be signs everywhere. Please do not step on the plaza with an alcoholic beverage or food. This is not our plaza.
Yeah.
And what's happened on the plaza is out of our control.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, because I saw the meeting before I got here. I hadn't seen it the other day. I didn't even know that this item was up, and so I did see it today, and I said, well, let me see what it's all about. And so I saw at the meeting that the mayor was requesting a meeting with yourself and staff, and that kind of, before he could vote, he was going to vote no, which was interesting. He said he was 100% for it,
But
but he's voting no
but
because he hadn't had a meeting, a personal meeting.
yeah.
You know, there's been other meetings. And I did ask him, and just for the record, I said, good afternoon. I just saw, this is a text to the mayor. I just saw the Fritz and Franz from last week, and I have a serious question. Why does a single elected official have to meet with the client and not just the staff? Remember that we don't have a strong mayor system. Feel free to answer if you like. He says, Mr. Ruano, great to hear from you. If you get a chance, I know you're busy. Watch commission meetings so that you can get a better understanding of the commission's request for the tenant to meet with staff, fire and police, chief, CM, DCM, which is not true, actually. The commission was not asking to meet with them because you had already met with them. But I'll say, also feel free to request my office emails where I make multiple requests for F&F, for Frintz, to meet with staff.
Well, Robert, the way it used to be, okay, we go to the city, we get approved, and never had a problem, basically 22 years.
Right.
The city would approve the resolution, or like Mayor Jim Kaysen said about this folly, that's a consent agenda, it's done, thank you very much. Sometimes we didn't have to go. We go to the meeting, we get approved, and then we sit down with the police chief or police representative and say, okay, what do you need from us? How many officers at which game? And we work out the detail, but never before. At the events committee, we talk with the police and say, yeah, once this is approved,
Right.
we come and sit down with you. There was never an issue. The
Right.
fire department has not been at this event for 24 years. And now they're coming up, yes, we need to send somebody for 4 hours, $680 on this for every game. So it came out to $17,000.
Yeah.
We never had them in 24 years, and now they're putting them on to us,
Yeah.
right? And the city commission, the police, the off-duty police, we like to hire. Because number one, we feel secure. Number two, it's great when you have an officer there. Nobody is going to mess with them.
Right.
Security, they might mess. But an
Right.
officer will call
No.
cables, and we never had a problem. It's not a safety issue. It's a lie from this mayor.
Now, let me ask you something. So there's another commission meeting coming up next week. Do you think there's a chance? Have you looked at, I don't know if the agendas come out, but is there a chance that maybe one commissioner brings it back up and says, no, please, Fritz and Franz, do your watch party. We want you.
Yeah.
And they come back.
The people over the weekend, and you saw it on Sunday, how many, everybody said, what is going on? Why is the city not letting you do it? Please remind everyone, I pulled the plug because the city was harassing me now since February to get this done, or we have not got this done. I pulled the plug on the plaza, and now I am only going to do this if Mayor Winslager resigns.
Oh, wow.
Then I will do the plaza setup. I will do everything in my power to run a fantastic show, and the World Cup should go on. Who in the world is not thinking about USA on the 19th of June playing Paraguay at 9 p.m. that night? Who in the world is not going to come out and want to see that, and party, and celebrate the team in their own nation?
I think everybody.
How in the world is this happening? Not being part of this, you know? But I will do it, and everybody in Miami knows me. I stick to my words. I will do the plaza if Mayor Winslager resigns, because he is not a mayor for the people. He might be a mayor for the big developers, for big money, but he is not for mom and dad operation. He is not for small business, and definitely is not for family-operated business.
Wow. Well, you certainly don't have a lot of opinions, but
No.
The chances of him resigning are pretty, zero.
Yep.
So my guess is that you're going to do what you're doing.
Right.
Hopefully the people who see this will still come out there, and come out in droves now, because you're a small business. I'm a small business owner. It's tough, and I have a family member who owns several restaurants. Restaurants are very tough. It's a very demanding,
not easy at all, no.
and it's not. The city should be working with small business like yourselves. Right. So good luck to you. This has been a great interview.
Thank you.
I hope it works out. Don't count on the mayor resigning, but hopefully you'll get some positive press. You'll get a lot of people out there, and I don't know. Pray a lot.
You made a good point, especially Coral Gables. If you're not good in the restaurant business in Coral Gables, you are not there, because we don't have tourists. We have locals, and locals know what they're getting, and locals supporting us. And the Fritz Franz Bierhaus is not just supported by Coral Gables. They're supported by Miami Beach, South Florida. Everybody in South Florida loves the restaurant.
And remember, and I'll tell you, and it's probably happening now, and it happened when they put the umbrellas on the plaza. All those people going to Harald Plaza and walking around and stuff, a lot of them were ending up right in your restaurant. Yeah. When we did Gables Bike Day or the bike tours, we would come, a group of us, and we would stay at your restaurant because it was a great place to put the bikes and be outside. But anyway, Harald,
Robert,
thank you very much. Harald Neuweg from Fritz and Franz.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, and hopefully you'll see us next week on June 5th when our guest is former Congressman Joe Garcia. Thank you, and this has been another edition of Localized Miami.